Welcome back to We Do the Heavy Lifting. I'm your host, Dr. Jenny Yentis, and today we do coaching, but not sports coaching. We're going to do people coaching today. And really, what is that? How do we coach people? How do we help systems and teams and individuals get through their day-to-day and end up being the best that they can be? So to teach us a little bit today is our guest, Erin Randall. I'm really excited to have Erin with us today. Erin Randall is a coach for systems, teams, and people. Mm-hmm. You own your own boutique coaching business, Ad Meliora, and you just want happy people doing great work. So
that's true. That is very much what I am all about, is happy people doing great work. And yes, it's fun to be here with you today, Jenna, too.
Well, awesome. Yeah, thank you for being here. So today we want to talk a little bit about four things: practice, habits, systems, and goals.
Goals, right. So let's actually just start there. Let's start on the back end side of that. So how many of us at the beginning of a year set goals about, these are the things that I want to accomplish this year? I see you laughing like you're like, I may have already set some of those, and perhaps it's not even mid-March and some of those have fallen by the wayside.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so if you think about that, systems are greater than goals.
Okay.
Systems are greater than goals. All right. A goal is a future state.
Okay.
Okay. A system is present state.
All right. I can follow
that.
So
what are the systems that you need to put in place to make that goal possible?
Oh, okay. So instead of thinking about like, what are the little steps I need to achieve, it's like, how do I set things up for success to get to that goal?
Yes. But you could also think of those systems as those small steps that go into that bigger stride of reaching out to meet that goal and the like. We do not rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So I read a lot of James Clear. I know. It's once you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, that is kind of true, isn't it?
Makes so much sense.
Right. So there's an author, James Clear, and he wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And I think very highly of Clear's work. Okay. You're going through it and you're like, oh, yeah. But you might also, the guy Scott Adams who writes the Dilbert comics, he writes about this too. And this is something that has been on my mind very much as of late, simply because I think about goals. I mean, goals are something that I set for myself every year and the like, all right? But I'm thinking, systems are greater than goals. What are the systems that I need to put in place to make that goal a reality, not just something that's out there pulling me forward and the like, all right? So, for example, if you have the eternal, New Year goal of I want to lose weight, or if I want to get more fit, or if I want to do something along those lines, all right, what are the systems that you need to put in place to make that goal possible? All right, it might be, I need to do meal planning, all right? I need to do automated grocery delivery. I need to have these systems set up so that I'm cooking these things on a rotation, and I've got this all set up. I've got these feeding into this spreadsheet, so it's feeding that way. All right, suddenly you're making that goal of eating more healthily to lose weight. You're bringing it down into small pieces. You're building that system, so you work towards that goal there.
So a key component of this is actually planning. Because because it sounds like the goal that you give is probably,
an eternal one that 95% of the population has probably said at one time or another.
Exactly. I want to lose weight this year. I'm going to get healthier this year. Whatever it may be. I'm going to eat better.
Right.
So in order to be successful, like you said, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So if you don't plan and you don't think through how are you going to, it's like being actionable. You hear about SMART goals and people are always like, what is a SMART goal?
And it's got measurable and it's, action. It's got, a timetable on it. Okay, great. And there's a lot of great things about SMART goals. You might still want that. And if that system works well for you, wonderful. All right. I'm looking more big picture. Okay. What are the systems I need to have in place to make my life, the life that I want, a reality? What do I need to make it possible? And that's why I'm starting to take a better look at the systems that I have in place. What do I need to tweak? What do I need to improve? This ties into my work when I do a lot of work with teams and organizations and the like. People think that, I'm going to go change and it's just going to be some transformational event. It's like being baptized. You're going to go into the water and you're going to come out clean and all new. That's really not how it works. Okay. There are these small things that happen over a larger period of time that really nudge you in a direction. So I think about it as, I call it systemic nudge. Right? So this is why, what are the systems that I need to put in place to make the change I want possible.
Okay.
You know, it might be around feedback. It might be, okay, how do I want to practice this particular thing? It might be, who do I need to set myself up with to do some training or some coaching in this particular event? Do I need to, you know, we're still back with, you know, I want to eat healthier sorry as I kick you. As I want to eat healthier in this new year. Do I need to talk to a nutritionist or something?
Okay.
What are the systems I need to put in place to make my goals a reality? Now, the whole, you know, rising to the level, you know, you won't rise to the level of your goals, you'll fall to the level of your systems. I didn't say that. That, I believe, did come from James Clear himself, so I don't want to take credit where credit is not due.
No worries. No worries. We will.
No one would have thought that I got something quite that pithy and excellent out the first time anyway. No.
We will make sure that he gets the credit. We'll link to his book.
It's Atomic Habits. You know, he's done some really great work on helping people to like start to break things down. What are the habits that you need to link together? Mm-hmm. He calls it chaining habits. And you might also look at the work of Katie Milkman, or BJ Fogg does some work along this too. Brown, you know, what do you need to link together in order to make that habit, you know, more practiced, you know, more outcome oriented and the like. So let's say, you know, when you brush your teeth, you know, okay, I'm also just going to floss at that point in time. Milkman gives the example of, you know, doing something that she doesn't want to do. She doesn't want to go study, but she lets herself listen to, I think she was listening to, or watching a TV show or something. The only time she let herself do it is if she was running on the treadmill. Okay. So linking something with you want with something you want to get done. And you're like, there it is there. Yeah.
So it's really helpful. A lot of our listeners are, you know, listening from a human performance or sports medicine side. And a lot of this is applicable not just in your daily life and making habits, but then in practice schedules, in, you know, performing better, to being dedicated to, you know, the systems. A lot of elite athletes, you see that they have these habits. They put these systems in place. And most of us are not elite athletes or elite performers in one way, shape, or form. And so learning from that and trying to think through, okay, what are the systems that have to go in place? What are those goals? So then how does practice and habits play into all four?
So a lot of people use words around what are the habits that I need to have? What do I need to do? And I've actually backed off the word habits.
Okay.
And I have gone to practice. Okay. What do I need to practice? All right, because practice to me, this is something that I'm trying. All right, I'm just trying. It doesn't mean I'm like, you know, great at it. It just means that I'm over here, I'm practicing because I'm practicing. I want to improve.
It's like yoga. Yoga is a practice. Tai Chi is a practice. They don't ever call it like mastery. It's you're always
just
practice.
Yeah. All right. But how we talk to ourselves matters. It matters a great deal. And by just saying, I'm practicing this, I'm going forth, I'm stepping into it, I'm going to give it a try. All right. I'm not expecting perfection. I'm not expecting mastery. This is just something that I'm building. I'm building that practice. So that's why the word habits is there. But I guess I just like the openness, the generosity of practice more. It's just something I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's where I go with that.
I appreciate that because I am the type of person that when I set a goal, so let's say I'm not active. I am. But
you're lying. You are so active. I've seen you, but yeah, still.
Let's just say I'm a person that's not very active. I'm sedentary. I sit a lot, and I want to start working out. And in my head, I'll set this goal of like, okay, I'm going to do it 3 times this week or what have you. Yeah. And Wednesday comes along and it's crazy busy and I miss Wednesday and my internal person shuts down because I missed it.
And she's real awful, isn't she? She says the most horrible things.
And she's a perfectionist. And so since I wasn't able to do it, it's like, well, why bother at all? And so shifting that to thinking of like, okay, I'm going to practice trying to do this gives you the grace to make those mistakes.
Right. It's a little kinder to yourself. I'm going to say it again. How we talk to ourselves matters.
Yeah.
And if I'm practicing it, all right, lean in. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you give if you're coaching someone that's needing to be a little bit kinder to themselves? What are some of the like low-hanging fruit that you can maybe offer to someone to think through, like how you could change that verbiage that you're using with yourself? Are there words that people use a lot? I know I'm sort of putting you on the spot.
No,
Knowing
it's
you might
completely
have
fine.
to
I'm
edit
actually,
this a
what's
little bit.
coming to mind is just kind of a bus, right?
Okay.
You're on the bus and you're going somewhere and, maybe it's up there. This is the system that I'm trying to build, or that's the goal. This is the direction that I'm going. All right. And so many of us, when we get on that bus, who are the first people that we let on the bus? It's those horrible people that say things. It's like, oh, you're not doing this right. You're not doing this good enough. Oh, are you doing it like that? You know what? You're doing terrible at this. Oh my gosh, those people are awful.
Yeah.
You don't give them control of the bus. You don't let them pick the radio station. They get to go to the back of the bus. All right, they're all the way in the back, and you give them a project. Maybe they're back there like trying to get the truckers to honk at the way by, whatever. All right, they're playing the license plate game. You're going to just give them something else to do. Because who are the people that you actually want on the bus with you? All right, stop for those people. Is it the people that say, hey, you know what? This is great. I'm going to go give this a try. I'm in your corner. All right, the people that are going to lift you up, that want you to go, they want the best for you. You're going to get them on. All right, what do they need to do? Someone might need to, work on your, telemetry, building a map. Okay, where are we going? How do we want to head in that direction? Give all those people, the ones that are for you, give them the jobs that help you get towards that system, eventually that goal and the like.
So focusing on those voices and putting
Focusing
them
on
forward.
those voices. I think Brene Brown talks about who are the people that you want to bring into the arena with you. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what we're doing. Except we're on the bus, we're going somewhere. And then the thing is, I don't want you to be a passenger on your own bus. I want you to drive your bus. You pick up. You get to pick the direction. You get to pick how fast you're going. You get to pick when you want to get there, right? You get to drive for a change. Because when it's your system, your goal, suddenly it means a whole lot more. Yeah.
I think something that has been helpful for me in coaching is prioritizing your own work and your own, a lot of us, especially those in academia, we are a lot of times self-sacrificing. We will give everyone our time. We'll do everything for everyone else. And I think for the most part, for me, it's avoiding doing my own work at some points in time because it's not as fun as helping other people or seeing other people succeed. And so,
sacrificing self in order for others. Yeah. All right. Think about how that interferes with your own systems too. Yeah. We've talked about in the past is, I would often ask you, like, Jenna, is that your monkey? And you're like, no, this is not my monkey. I'm like, why are you picking that monkey up? Why are you feeding that monkey? That's not your monkey.
So for our listeners, the monkey is very important. There's a Harvard Business Review article from the 70s.
Yeah, it's from the 70s, and it's pretty famous. And I feel terrible at the moment because I'm not forgetting the exact citation, the author.
We'll link it in the show notes.
We'll give you that. Don't worry. But I reference this article to this day quite a bit. And you can always tell who's worked with me at one point or another because suddenly they start talking about monkeys.
Yep.
Okay. But the monkey, when you pick up someone else's monkey, that means you're not getting your own monkeys handled.
Yeah.
All right. And all of a sudden things are being taken over. Suddenly you're working on someone else's goals, not your own. You're building someone else's systems, not your own. All right. So what are the monkeys that you need to say yes to and which do you need to say no to? And putting, what is the priority of those? Yeah. Okay. You're going to look at all kinds of things come in. I think you and I worked on Moscow boards at one point.
Yeah, we did work on Moscow boards.
So Moscow boards are, simple, what must you do? What should you do? What could you do? And what won't you do? Okay. And you're going to take all of the different systems that you're trying to build and all the different responsibilities that you have, and you're going to start putting them up there on these boards and the like, and you're going to start taking a look at them. Pretty soon it's like, oh, I got a lot of monkeys going on here.
Yep.
Okay. And which need attention and which need to be sent to the back of the bus for a while and which do you need to take care of?
Yeah.
All right.
What I found really helpful about that was I used Post-it notes.
Yep.
And so I would, I had on my whiteboard, it just must, should, could, won't. And the very first day I did it, I think I went through an entire pad of Post-it notes and all these things were in the must. And I just stood there and was like, oh. And then it just, as I saw them all, because a to-do list is, everybody has a to-do list, and to-do lists, you just keep adding to it, and then you scratch something off. It feels great to scratch it off.
Move it to the right.
But then, exactly. But when you have all these sticky notes, then you're just like, oh, wait, well, I've got to do like 6 other things before I can even do that thing that I have in the must. So we'll move that to could. And then maybe we make another Post-it note of the small thing that's a must. And then I started rearranging them, and they moved all the time.
Right.
Every day.
This is also
moving.
a great example of you paying attention to a system that you're building so you could find out what was the important work for you to get done now. This is a system you were building. You're like, oh, there it is. But you could see everything up in front of you for the first time. And I mean, just beyond the shock of like, oh, that's a whole lot of stuff that you've got to get done there. What's really important and what's not. What is adding the value, what is not. What really belongs to someone else, what do I need to let go of? Yeah.
And those systems really did help. Building a lot of that, one, helped me in coaching and mentoring my own students and trying to help them. And so even I can see anybody that supervises others, it helps with teaching them how to manage their time.
Yeah.
A lot of individuals, time management skills is something we think people have, but they don't always. Like, you shouldn't assume people know. Right?
No, I mean, well, it's always, and I'm being mindful of what words I, don't assume anything. It kind of makes a blank out of you and me.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
and you want to let
true.
that go. And time management skills are different for different people. Different people have, how long can they focus? What are they working on? What do they need to, what's important now? And this kind of, maybe time management is also a practice that some are, working towards and the like. Just thinking about that, how do we prioritize? How do we manage? And how do we think about what's there? I mean, this kind of goes to that future state aspect of a goal. If a goal is what you want to get to in the future, what leads up to getting to that goal? There's kind of a bit of reverse engineering. If this is the final state that I want, what needs to happen before that to really make that happen? And how do I want to be with that? Kind of where the skills that I want to practice, what are the new things that I want to bring into focus, and what do I need to let go of? I mean, just as important as what you put on your board is what you don't put on your board too.
It's very, very helpful.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Erin, our time is coming to a close, so thank you. It goes by quickly. It really does.
Yeah. It does go by quickly. I was getting prepared to have an entirely new diatribe and here's where we're going to go build these boards now. I was going to get this, co-op this back here and be like, let's talk boards.
Well, if any of our listeners are interested in doing that with you, we will link to your website so they can contact you and do that. I will say it was very helpful. Yeah. We always ask our guests if they have anything they want to leave with our listeners. If there's a take-home message or anything they didn't get to say that they really want to leave.
I'll just say it again. Systems are greater than goals. And what are the systems you need to build to get you to the goal that you want? I'll also say this again. How we talk to ourselves matters.
Yeah.
What do you want to practice? And how do you want to say it? How do you want to hear it? How do you want to receive it?
That's wonderful advice. If only we did that every day.
Me too.
Practice.
I'm still practicing that too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here,
Thank you.
Erin. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you to our listeners for joining us yet again for another episode of We Do the Heavy Lifting. And as always, if you have comments or other topics or individuals that you would like us to interview, please send us an email at huffines@tamu.edu. That's huffines@tamu.edu. And as always, stay healthy.
Stay healthy, Jenna.
Absolutely.